Welcome, Michael. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. It's good. It's good to see you again, Ethel.
Good to have you back. So, we're going to start today. First, letting you know that this is recorded for my class that I'm in college.
Okay.
Um, the people that will see it are me, my professor, maybe other people in the school, but
Okay.
everything is strictly confidential. So, don't worry about anyone getting too much of your information. Um, Welcome.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Do you have any questions about the process of the consent form that we signed or anything? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. If I remember correctly, the last time we had a session, we mentioned, well, you mentioned about your abandonment issues and a couple of things that were going on in your life with work. And at the time, you didn't have a girlfriend or anything like that. You were single and
Hmm.
trying to find some balance back into everything. You want to Are there any updates about your abandonment issues? Like, how have you found ways to deal and cope with those issues?
Um, I'd say that it's a work in progress whenever it comes to my abandonment issues and um, issues that matters of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much so. Um, I am in a new relationship, um, and I'm very excited about that relationship. But um, I have already acted in ways that showcase old behaviors um, from my abandonment issues, which is a tendency to run away from something that is positive. I feel I don't know. I'm just I get scared. I guess.
Okay. What behaviors have you shown?
Um, Overreacting. I think I tend to overreact um, whenever I feel like I need constant. Feel that I'm um, perhaps a bit too needy, and I can go from feeling very comfortable for a period of time to all of a sudden um, those abandonment issues that I have or different things from the past or what have you make my mind think that I need to protect myself and I should just get out now. So I'm in love, but I will leave quick, which makes no sense to me.
Okay.
But it's definitely a pattern that I have and something that I know that I need to work on. That's one of the reasons why I'm glad that I have you here, Ethel.
Okay. What are some ways that you feel you can work on it?
On uh, on not bailing out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that all boils down to my 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 trust issues, and I'm right now I'm kind of telling myself to, and you know I have battled with addiction problems, and I'm a recovering addict and alcoholic, and so I worked the 12 steps, and they've changed my life dramatically. I'm a completely different person than I was, but whenever I start to get into issues of uh, um, I don't know, it seems like issues whenever you're handing over your love or something, like the word, that's what it is. Whenever I'm handing over, the care of your heart to someone else can be scary, and I just generally don't. I'm working on not being so impulsive, and letting things play out. But I have a major problem because I'll say everything's fine. I can know that everything's fine, and I can know what I shouldn't say, but I'll still do it.
So you trying to work on impulsivity, trying to stop and think before you do things and say things.
It's pretty important.
Yeah. So how is your new girlfriend? Like, how is she? How does she treat you?
Very well.
Okay. So does she give you any doubts that she shouldn't be trusted, or she doesn't have your best interest at heart?
Nope, I
Mm-hmm.
guess not. I haven't really thought of something so simple in that light. No, I feel I'm I'm hoping that some of the actions that I'm doing right now seem to be characteristic of my old behaviors, and I I mean, this is just recently. I kind of feel like I'm setting up these unnecessary tests, but she is definitely holding strong and putting up with my um, immature, childish, in a lot of ways, things that are old defense mechanisms that I probably had since I was young.
Okay. So with her putting up with him passing your test, how does that make you feel about her though?
Really good.
Okay.
Key is, can I stop it?
Can you stop the mature behaviors? What you're saying?
Yeah,
Stop putting up the test with her.
yeah.
Do you feel like you can stop it?
I have the high hopes.
Okay. Do you want to stop it? Is the
Yes,
question.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Where do you see the relationship going with her? I know it's still fresh and new, but she's passing your test. So after she's passed all of these tests, what are your hopes with you and her?
well, um, we are having conversations that involve, use the word, you know, love, uh, forever, family, you know, and uh, I, I'm, I don't. Can some, can something be too good to be true? And that scares me as far as I can't believe that God has brought this person into my life that checks every box for me, and at the same time, can I live up to the person that I want to be for her with, you know, I'm a very confident person that has you know, a commanding presence and this and that, but inside, whenever it comes to issues of vulnerability or whatnot, I don't know. I don't know. It's a whole other ball of wax on the way I present myself and what's going on in my head.
Okay. Why do you feel you're not, like God? should not have blessed you with this, or this is too good to be true.
I'm 3 years sober.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, before I got sober and started working the 12 steps, I was a completely different person with that is not the person you see before me. I'm very confident. I'm fairly confident. I like where I'm at in my life and everything else, but I have um, you know, she checks all the boxes without getting into the little ones or what have you. I have a, she doesn't, I would be putting myself in a place of ultimate vulnerability, and it's not that I have a problem with this, it's just strange.
Mm-hmm.
But she is a wealthy ER doctor,
Okay.
okay, with no children at 42, that likes a with no tattoos, never done a drug. You know, she's a social drinker, and it's not my thing to go changing other people. But she says that I make her want to be a better person. That she loves me for my heart and for who I am. But her last husband is deceased. He died of cancer, um, and she talks about him a bit. She says that uh, I remind her of him, which I consider flattering. Before I was very controlling. I don't want to hear about any exes or whatnot. I'm trying to I'm trying to work these programs or what have you. But I live in an apartment that I furnished for a couple of grand. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going and seeing her at her house, and it's what I mean, $700,000 home, and this and that. It's kind of like everything's pretty. It's kind of unreal. Like, is this real? You know what I mean? Is this really happening?
I can
I
understand
love
that.
her mentally. She's physically beautiful as all get up. The connection is super strong, and we're talking all these things, and it's just kind of like that hand it over, and then also, you know, um, it's just scary. It's fear. I'm scared.
What is something that you can do to get over this fear? Because you said that you actually care about her, that you like her. I can see that your eyes light up when you mention her. So, what can you do to get over the fear?
Um, ooh, um, I'm working on uh, trying to stay in gratitude as I've been living my life and be grateful for what I have. Um, trying to live life in God's will, and appreciate that if this love has been bestowed on me, to nurture it and take care of it. But obviously, whenever I talk it out with you right now, I know I haven't necessarily been doing that, because I do nurture and love, but then I can get scared, and then I just feel like I'm, you know, whenever she's working, you know, 12-hour shifts at the ER and everything else, the last thing, I want to do is have constant conversations about, validation for my feelings or what have you. I think it's immature, and I wish that I could bite my tongue more and not, um, um, I'm trying to want to stay in the moment more and
Mm-hmm.
quit tripping on the past or worrying about the future.
Sometimes that can be hard with her and you, her validating your feelings. Have she expressed how constantly validating your feelings make her feel, or is she worried about validating your feelings?
I don't know. I didn't really ask her that question. Uh, I just make promises to her of what I can provide her, which is me emotionally, and I try and uh, utilize those to the best of my ability without feeling insecure about what I can't provide for her, because she can have whatever she wants. The woman wears a Rolex. She picked me up in her Corvette. And this is like, are you serious? I prayed, Ethel. I was working with a guy, and he I'd always before I would always say, man, if God would just bring me the right woman, you know what I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
would fix everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had that time and time again, and I screwed it up. So one of the guy that I learned a lot from said, what you have to do is pray to God to make you the right man when the right woman appears. And I've been consciously doing that, and now she's appeared, and I'm just like, what?
so
So I'm scared shitless.
my question is, do you think you're trying to be the right person that you feel like she needs, or do you even know the right man that she wants?
Well, she says that she loves me for me,
Okay.
you know, and I believe that. I can, you know, uh, you know, we act like a couple of kids whenever we're alone or whatnot. Whenever you see her and the demeanor that she carries at work, I mean, she's she's mixed, and she is 95 pounds, and being around basically older white male doctors or whatnot, she was had been stepped on and this and that. So she's got a very strong personality. She carries herself. She doesn't put up with anything, and all that. But whenever we're together, we just have a great time. I think she likes me because you know I told her, whenever I was in school, I went to Parkview, and she's a Hall High girl, and I said, now you started off as a Hall High girl, and like I said, she just checks all the boxes, and we put on, get our music and play our music to each other, and she's listening to old Jodeci and stuff like that, and
Yes.
being goofy, and and all that. That's what I love, and I feel that both of our work relationships are kind of work. I'm good at not taking my work home with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's an ability I'm very grateful that I have. But I don't know, Ethel. I feel insecure and unworthy, and then I get my abandonment issues wrapped up in it, and then I'm like, you're gonna, how you act, and then I used to display some very I think through talking this through with you, and I'm being completely honest, is that also I just hope that none of my old characteristics come out as far as um, my codependent tendencies, and to put my finger on something and smother something that I love, because I've been doing. If I'm on my own, I really do well as far as the way I interact with others, but this is a first. I stayed single for a long, long, long time to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I um, would be prepared for a relationship, but it's something that you really never prepare for until you're in it, I guess. So I'm weirded out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. My question right now. with all of your different characteristics, behaviors, how can you work on them to help this relationship?
I'm trying to stay honest and tell her about what how I feel and how I act, and I feel like I'm progressing in that,
Okay.
but it's also a thin line between this relationship still being fresh or whatnot, as far as like feel like I'm dumping on her, like what I mean, like I don't want to just go blah, what I mean, say hey, blah, and then create I'm I'm trying to find balance, I guess, is what um, you're kind of making me realize a little bit. Not is finding that balance as far as um,
Your insecurities,
mhm,
your
just
abandonment
the
issues.
ability to turn it all the way up. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And can I do that? And is the time appropriate? And it might be. You know,
Might be.
it might be.
Do you think you'll be able to just stop and embrace the moment? Be grateful for what you do have right now. Embrace your new lady and just live in the moment.
Man, I try. I do, and I feel that that is something that I need to work on and do more. Um, you know, Whenever I say I got it, I usually ain't got jack nothing. So, you know, I think that that would be, you know, I mean, I'm very sweet and romantic, and I send her little gifts and stuff. You know, that,
Is that something the old Michael would do?
what's that?
Send gifts and be sweet and
Sure,
okay.
sure, but then old Michael would uh, always kind of flip things and then go, you know what I mean? I don't I don't feel I'm now I didn't realize before that a lot of my love was transactional. You
Mhm.
give me this, I'll give
Mhm.
you that.
Mhm.
I'm trying to be more of just freely giving and not expecting, because that is because you never know what somebody else is going through or what's on their mind or what have you. But boy, I tell you what, when it comes to somebody that I care about, well, tell me right now, what do you need?
Mhm.
Come on now, something's wrong. You ain't talking to me.
Yes.
And that's not really my place, but it's easier said than done whenever you love and worry about someone. But then, is it more because, you know, I want to help and control her feelings, or is it basically because I need the affirmations? I don't think that neither one of them are necessarily positive, but it's hard. It's very hard for me to just let things be whenever it comes to matters of that.
Yeah, I think it's hard, but I think finding ways to embrace the moment, live right then, right there, will kind of help you find some balance in the future.
I think so too, Ethel, and I think so too. Um, I'm a work in progress.
Absolutely. We all are. Absolutely. So, from our session today, working on living in the moment, I think that's a better way to conclude it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Living in the moment. How do you feel about that, though?
I feel good. I mean, my heart's full of love, and I'm so grateful for my life. The last thing I really want to do is self sabotage again.
Absolutely. And I think self sabotaging come from a lot of the past traumas, the past emotions you've dealt with. and taking time to just accept what is now, what's in front of you now. It's hard, but living in the moment can help cope with some of those past experiences, past traumas.
I'm gonna give it my best,
Absolutely. That's all we can ask for. Okay.
and I like making her happy. You know, I mean, it it consumes me, and I need to work on that too. But I got a good work life separation, but I do. I just, you know, I'm needy. I want to control you. I need. Oh yeah, I'm gonna run away. You know, so
That's the immature behaviors you're talking about.
that's what I do.
Okay. But she sat there and passed all the tests and stood beside every one of those behaviors.
And that's what I needed to hear today.
Yes.
That's what I needed to hear today. Yeah, you're right. She has, and because I'll dare you to leave me.
And she's still holding on.
Yep, for sure. We had a conversation the other day, and she walked away from the. She went outside to talk to me, and it made me feel, you know, a little guilty or whatnot. But you know, the fact that she has such an important job and everything else. You know, normally it's not like that, but we had a 20-minute conversation. She never steps away from the ER for more than 5 minutes. So, you know, you know, I feel, and having this conversation kind of puts it into perspective that I do have someone that cares for me and is, like you said, she just wants a partner to enjoy life with and go on adventures with, and she really likes the way I make her feel, and
Okay.
I'm probably just need to accept that that's enough, that I am who I am and she loves me for who I am.
She loves you for who you are.
But you know, I can't buy her a damn Rolex.
She already has one. Why would she need
Right.
two?
Touche.
Why would she need two?
Touche.
Did she ask you to buy her a
No,
Rolex?
no, no. She knows, you know, she knows how much money I make, and she told me how much money she made, and I just looked at her. I said, "That's just an extra zero. That's all it is. You just got one more zero than me."
Yes. I think she has accepted you though for who you are and all of your past experiences and traumas are actually trying to self sabotage you again.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you for this class assignment and everything else that you know, this is what I needed to hear, and you are going to make a great counselor, and
Thank you.
this did me a lot of good. I appreciate you.
Alright. But yes, we gotta remember though, concluding,
Mm-hmm.
we're not gonna self sabotage this.
Okay, that's right.
We're gonna live in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
accept things for how they are.
Okay.
Alright.
Yes, ma'am.
Good speaking with you today, Michael.
Doctor's orders, I will do it, ma'am.
All
All
right.
right.